looking good for Chevy. All right, 1964 Chevy Suburban. We're putting a clutch in it, getting her back on the road. Anyways, I'm gonna work on it right here. And the reason is my shop is full of stuff. I don't wanna, let me show you the shop full of stuff. It's just so full, and I only have one day to do this. So let's take a look around inside. If you guys look back on the last video, you'll have seen it pulled up to this spot a few months ago. I worked on the 53 Ford. That's what we're doing inside, so we're gonna unbury it and get going. If you remember, we've left it patina. If you remember, there was three colors: the original color, no color, the primer, and then the brown. That was painted in 1990. If you haven't gone back, synopsis is about a year ago. I got this out of a frozen field, and I've been buried for 30 years. Anyways, the whole reason I bought this was because I had this 283. Come on in, John. I had this 283, it's a 66 model, and I was cleaning the shop one day and I said, we really need to find a truck or a car or a Suburban or something to put this in. And you know, lo and behold, this was discovered a few miles from here in a field. I was able to purchase it. Originally a 3-speed column shift. That stuff didn't work anymore, so I went ahead and put a 5-speed in it, which I had on my shelf anyways, and did the conversion. I used a used clutch, used pressure plate, I put it all together. I was strapped on finances, and when I put that stuff in the shop, I remembered it worked, but apparently it didn't work good enough. It was just enough, just enough. It worked just enough to drive it on a few trips around, doing some YouTube video, and now I'm ready to drive it more. Even though it's winter here, I'll be ready for spring. So you want to see if it still runs, John? How long has it been sitting here? Since the last video, what's been 2-3 months?
Sure.
Yeah. I got an extra pulley. I don't think it's for this engine, but there was a big stack of these at the junkyard an hour from here, and I thought that one looks pretty close. So I don't know if it's a Chevy pulley or not. It's because I was having issues with the Chinese pulley, and there was a video on me fixing that and putting a new seal in it. And actually, the seal was new. It was the speedy sleeve I had to add to it. So let's throw a battery in this and see what happens. 474 Ford. 6-cylinder. I'm gonna pull the battery out because I stole it from the Suburban. Let's do nothing. Let's do a cold start this morning, John. Hold this.
You want me to connect the batteries?
This, and I will connect that. It's just enough. All right, just enough gas. Let's see if it starts. A cold start on a will it start a week later? Man, this is a good truck. That didn't do anything to that. It runs better than the stuff I work on. This thing can set for 20 years, and it just needed the points clean and the plugs clean. And anyways, so anybody who's commented on what I should do with it, I got some good ideas. Car carrier, build a house on the back like a house truck. What else did I get, John? There was a couple of them. Look in the comments. I don't remember everything. I haven't decided. The cheapest thing would be to make it into like a car hauler, because that would be the cheapest thing. But I do like the house idea, and I'm always kind of partial to those house trucks. It's got the right look. It's gonna set for a while. I gotta put the clutch in. Let's get going, John. All right, so you can see that battery worked. This is really a Ford versus Chevy. Cold start versus not start. Now I had that running a week ago, and this has not ran in a couple of months. But that hadn't run for 20 years. I had the cap off here checking. Coolant looks good. This hasn't ran in a couple of months. Let's see what happens. You watch there, John, and I'll hit the key. So let the fuel pump do its magic, because there's an electric fuel pump on it. Here we go. Instead of running the battery dead, let's see if it's even getting fuel. Oh, that looks like it's getting fuel. So if a guy wants to see if he's getting fuel, you got to precariously stand on a bucket over an old steering box. And you got to be able to look down in. The choke was working. So you hold the choke. And then you should see squirters. Pretty weak. That's probably what's going on, is we're not fuel up to it yet. Or it's flooded, because, you know, maybe it got too much with the choke. Let's try it again. Good for Chevy. If it's a fuel problem, the Super Tech Walmart brake clean might help us out. If it's not a fuel problem, well, maybe it's a spark problem. Maybe it's a I don't know problem. Is it possible that it's not having spark, Johnny?
Well, the fact that it didn't do anything.
Yeah. It's so hard to be motivated when the engine won't run and it needs a clutch, and you're like, yeah, just put a clutch in and it'll run. I can smell the fuel. I can see the fuel. She got fuel. In fact, now the carburetor's leaking. I wonder if I left the fuel in it for a few months and it got all weird on me. It's leaking or something. I mean, it's leaking, but... Alright, let me hold it wide open and see if I can... It's probably flooded. Let me get a spark plug checker. Spark plug checker. Get yourself one. We'll see if we're getting spark before I start messing with fuel. So anyway, sometimes I get overstimulated. I only want to work on these things so much before I want something different. If you haven't seen last week's video, 53 Ford, we take it off-road. It does fabulous. I really put it through things it shouldn't have gone through. But hey, you know what? Definitely going to have to do some throttle adjustment, because you'll notice in the video, it just revs and goes. Well, every time the body twists, it jams on the throttle. So then you take your foot off the throttle, but then you have to put it back on, and it was like, I don't know. I need to put some kind of a cable or something on it. Check the sparker, Johnny.
No spark.
No spark? It didn't blink at all?
Not at all.
So how do you take a Chevy small block, park it here, go in the house, and come back a few months later and no spark? I think it's those stupid points. I bet it's those stupid points. Let me get my Chesters. Delay. My speech always is the same. Darian gives the same speech over and over. If you go to buy one of these things and they don't snap off and run, well, the price goes way down. Now, I'm not selling this one, so it doesn't matter. But if somebody shows up in my yard and I say, hey, it ran when parked, that's the same as saying I don't know anymore, right? Let's see if that comes off. No, because the screws have to be longer than that.
Of course.
Hopefully they're the kind of screws that will come out and fall on the ground, and then we can look for them.
Better than falling into the engine.
So people are saying right now, you're saying to yourself, Darian, why are you not in your shop where you have heat and everything? And I said, well, I didn't want to put my other cars outside because I have a feeling it's going to get dark on me today before I finish. There we go. Let's rotate this around so that we can... Oh, yeah, let's rotate this around. Oh, yeah, she's a good one. Oh, of course, it's rotating at worst position. We're going to go past that. All right. Now, I like Craftsman screwdrivers. What screwdrivers do you guys like? It's because they got this file on the end, even though that's not a file. You know, what is the old saying? Is it a bad tool if it works, or is it a bad idea if it works?
Every tool is a hammer.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of put it in there and file it a little bit. And I don't even know if this is it. I was saying earlier, I just don't have spark. Now I know this was a good distributor because it ran. All right, come around here, John. Shine your camera, zoom it in on the people. Stand on the passenger side and see if I can get any blue tickety-tick spark out of there. Three, two, one, contact. Anything?
Yeah, I'm seeing spark.
You're seeing spark?
I am.
You're seeing spark.
I was.
All right, get out of the way. Let's finish this thing.
I'll do
You're
it
seeing
on.
spark at the points. That means they're working. Now, let me show you this before. Square peg, round hole. Square peg, round hole. Oh,
So we'll put them backwards.
just look at how screwed up this thing is. Maybe that's why it was running like poo-poo the last time I was driving it.
Well, hey, you're the one using used parts on an old rig.
You got $300 for a tune-up for a Chevy?
Well, yeah, but I don't like this truck.
I'll straighten it out a little more better. Muy poquito. No, that's very little. Very little screw up. Anyways, come over here, shine your thing down in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see. That's a round peg. That's a square hole. It interlocks, so you cannot put this on backwards. Well, I suppose you could, you know,
File down the square hole.
put a lot of effort into making it fit. But anyways, it goes on there. So remember we were working on that distributor on that 6-cylinder, and you said something about the cap down. Are you putting it on right? I said, yeah, Human's been struggling for years on this stuff, and it's no different. They got it figured out. Anyways, you do need some tools with this. This is an ignition system that's been updated in the years past. You know, the HEI distributor was a huge step forward, electronic ignition, fuel injection. But in the olden days, people were familiar with this, and a lot of the glove boxes would have screwdrivers and parts in them. Same with the cap. Well, obviously we have a wire going through the window, so we know it's, but they will only fit on one way as well. And then we'll get some wrenches and tighten the fuel leak. And then we'll go back there and just start the engine, and everybody will be good. Man, that Ford 300 runs good.
Compared to this, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say this is better or worse because they're not apples to apples. But, man, that thing's just, I was impressed. I was just going to use it for a willet start and sell it, trade it, junk it, you know, keep parts. But now I'm going to have to pursue the title and, you know, put some effort in. Anyways, these little clips, if you're not sure you got them locked in, you feel underneath, and you're like, okay. But they kind of move a little more than you think they should. All right, let me get some wrenches, tighten her down, and we'll send this rodeo clown to town. And flare nut tools. Let's see if one of these fits. Too big. Too small. Oh, just right.
Okay, Goldilocks.
Look at how loose that is. Who tightened this stuff?
I'm gonna go with you.
Could I be the master of my own problems? I need another wrench. I'll be back. Which one do you think it is?
Neither of them.
You think? I think these random wrenches are not going to fit.
Yeah, I think they're too big.
Whoa, I don't think that's big enough, dude.
How do you...
15, 16? No. 1 inch? Oh, got it right on the second time.
Second time you had a couple other wrenches.
Right,
didn't
those
you?
were just for carrying. That was just for visual effect. All right, somehow this thing was loose. What? Oh, thank you very much, GM.
Well, that's fun.
You know what that means?
No.
That sucker has been stripped out, dude.
Yay, new carburetor.
I don't want to spend $400 on a stupid carburetor for this stupid Suburban. Why would a 55 or 60-year-old carburetor have problems, John?
I don't know. Probably because it's 55, 60 years old.
Anybody got one of these early Quadrajets laying around that you just want to donate? Hit me up. I will put your carburetor on my 283, and I will even say your name, address, phone number, and everything so people can get a hold of you to say grateful things like, gee, thanks for saving that Suburban. Why is this not going in this hole? Go in your hole.
Are you putting it in backwards?
Probably. Oh yeah, that made a huge difference. I just wanted to fix the clutch and drive the truck.
Well, clearly the truck doesn't like you.
Just look at here. I can finger tighten that. It's stripped out. It's gonzo. It's junk. It's screwed over. Okay. Ford is the win on this. I never had to touch that carburetor over there ever to make it run. Chevy, do I even have another one of those? Come to the wall of carburetors. Let us investigate. Maybe we got parts of a bottom we could put on there.
I highly doubt the wall of carburetors is going to have anything useful.
Well, zoom in on my wall of carburetors. I don't have one of those.
I don't have fingers to zoom.
Give me that dang thing. These are all my failed carburetors. That one came off of a 283, so it would fit, but it's junk. Those are the Webers or Edenbrocks that I've had on various projects. A Holly 2-barrel. That one's good, okay? That one's good, but I don't have the right manifold. That is, what is that? I think it's a Chevy 1-barrel. And there's some old Model T and Model A stuff up there. I never worked on those. Those are just for... Okay, the wall of carburetor shame. We'll get back to you. Got her going?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm putting the carburetor on hold right now. Chevy's a loss. Ford is a win. That's it. Put it in the comments. Disown me, dislike me. I'm thinking the only way to patch that is to get some of that gas tank repair stuff, which, by the way, the gas tank has been repaired with. The problem with that is if I repair that, it fails. Electric pump just keeps putting gasoline on the intake manifold. I don't like that idea. So I'm letting it set. I'm going to go ahead and fix the clutch because I think by then it'll come to me on what I want to do. I know what it wants. It wants a new carburetor is what it wants. So if you haven't seen this jack before, earlier in the video I showed you it, go back and watch some of my old stuff. It goes under the bumper. It's being dumb. See how that side's being dumb? I can tell.
By the way that it is.
By the way that it is. Uses air pressure. There we go. Anyways, I'm going to lift this thing up, put it on some stands, crawl underneath, have transmission oil hit me in the face, get mad, go in the house, and this is why you have a project set for 5 years.
Yeah?
Oh no, my air compressor. First the air compressor won't run, now it won't shut up. I mean, golly. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, you just gotta complain more.
They say complaining doesn't fix anything. Well, that may be true, but... There's my gas tank patch. You see that under there? Let me borrow your phone, your camera phone. You see that
phone?
The gas tank patch? That ain't leaking. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe smearing on those threads and around that filter. It probably has some rules like, you know, above freezing to use, something like that. Don't use under pressure. It's probably got some rules like that. I think I'm gonna go up. Man, there's a lot of new stuff under here, John. New brakes, new brake lines.
Oh,
new exhaust.
Have you found that where that part fell off from?
New fuel pump. What part? Oh, when we were driving? No, I don't know. That was extra.
Clearly.
Yeah, that was extra. Let's lift it up another inch. Look out. Here we go. Say when.
When?
All right, shove them under.
I don't want to.
Did that go under? Did you do it?
I gotta pick.
No, just shove it under. All right, if you can pick it up now, pick it up. There you go, one click. That's all I need. You got it? It's good?
It's as far as it'll go up, so
Yeah, I'm coming down. Look out!
I'll do what I want.
You people on the internet, get out of the way. Get on now. Anyways, to let it down is a valve. This is the lock. The compressor wasn't hot enough then. Is it staying on there? Before you take it all the way off.
I think it is. It's not touching that piece
We
of
gotta
wood.
use our brains and look at the feet. Look at the saddle. Give the truck a little shaky shake. Because when you're mad, you're gonna be shaking it.
I think mine's in the saddle good.
Looks good on both sides?
Well, I can't see your side very well.
We'll figure it out. A lazy guy would try not to fold the arms up. But now an intelligent guy has to make a decision. Scrape that one or scrape that one.
Yeah, both of them are scrapeable.
I'm not showing them my 280Z up on the hill. Don't show them. They have to go back in the video if they want to see that. So I'm not showing them, then that's very possibly that my 280Z car, I'm not going to tell you the year, because you should know by 280 that I have on a four-wheel drive frame, which is way cooler than that last four-wheel drive car. And then I got my ear peeled for a super engine choice. It's going to be really like a little monster truck. I'm not telling you about it, okay? Quit asking.
You know Mary's gonna show like a picture of it now.
No, she won't. She does whatever I tell her. Well, okay, she does whatever she wants after I tell her to do something. Now, is it falling off the stands back there? Are they leaning weird?
I haven't. They look okay.
Sometimes they want to lean forward with this lift.
They seem to be doing all right.
Let me go up a little higher because, again, I have this thing called, what do they call that? Being 50?
I don't know.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I don't pay attention to young.
Give me that phone camera.
I don't pay attention to young kids anymore.
All right.
That lingo.
Some exhaust work last summer. New engine. Not really. Somebody had a school bus yellow pan. I left it that way. My 5-speed conversion. My new $150 driveline shortening. All new U-joints. Stands are on the ground. I think we're going to run a broom. We're going to get going. Nothing's broken like till you're fixing it. We'll get back to you. And thanks for listening to the rambling.
Doesn't usually work with gloves on.
I noticed that. What a hunk of junk. So anybody decides they want to change the clutch, first thing you want.
Hey, it isn't. Well, you're turning the wheels.
I need. Look at my red pry bar, Johnny.
All right.
First thing you don't want to do. I don't even know if he's filming anything you can see.
The camera's underwear with you.
Good. I'll put it where people can see what I'm doing. Differential. Okay, everybody probably in my age group has worked on a car once or twice, and that's why you watch YouTube instead of doing it. This has a carrier bearing. This has these here. Okay, I could put it in gear. I could have him step on the brake, or if I was by myself, which, sometimes I am. Today I'm not, but sometimes I am. Look at that, new brake lines.
There you go.
All right, let me put that down. Let's take this red bar. And you put her up in here, and you shake it all about. And then I can, let's see, loosen, that's tight. Now I'm gonna come down with it. Oh, I'm on the wrong side now. This is too long. People are down. The camera's down. So on the inspection cover, this one bolt under the starter has to come out. All the rest are slotted. Ooh, that one's still tight. And you got this big crossbar in the way. This is a poorly laid out design. This has the rear motor mounts as the bell housing. So this truck has center Chevy style mounts, and then it's got this bell housing mount. So the thing's pretty rigid in here. And then you can see the 5-speed is just hanging off of there. Some people in the S10 conversion say you don't need to modify this or use this brace, but I went ahead and did, and I ended up making it a solid mount because the rest of it's solid. Yeah, it seems to work all right. So that comes out. This is our clutch. What we gotta do is essentially take out these Allen screws where I drilled through there. I don't know if you can see that. Pull the shifter, pull these four, and then this will just slide back. I'll be able to leave this in if I'm lucky, and I'll be able to slide it back if not. If not, then I just gotta take out these four. Drop this down, and we'll change the clutch. What you end up doing is you take a 9/16 and you'll loosen all these, blah, blah, blah. I know the pilot bushing is good. I know the flywheel is good. Like I said, I just put an old clutch and an old pressure plate and an old throwout bearing in it. It slips under acceleration. There's no more adjustment that can be made. It's just a wore out clutch. So I was joking earlier, but I'm serious with you guys on the YouTubers there. You don't like the new stuff. Every time I put out a newer video, anything that's 25 years old or newer, you're like, nah,
Ain't for me.
ain't for you. What do they say? The struggle is real. You guys enjoy watching the struggle. Now on a more serious note, do you remember when I put all the sheet metal screws in the floor and I said that'll be a future Darien problem?
Well, now it's a future.
It's a future Darien problem. I got sheet metal screws to contend with sticking through the floor. And then somebody there would say, well, why didn't you weld all that? Well, because frankly, there wasn't enough of the Chevy left to weld.
Also used the Subaru hood, right?
I used lots of stuff, John. This kind of like, what would you say this? This is paper mache. The floorboards in this truck are paper mache art. You ever had a project, say you're in the first grade, kindergarten? That's where it started. And they have you make something out of noodles, macaroni, or string and glue, and you couldn't get it home without getting broke. Yeah, that's old classic car floorboards.
Their noodle art.
They're noodle art. Hanging on the fridge, and you're like, the first time it fell.
That was it.
That was it. So in the other video, I don't know if we showed or not, we went to a junkyard for some stuff for that. What are we going to the junkyard for? Oh, brake parts for that 53 Ford.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And we found another one of these S10 5-speeds for $100. So of course we spent the afternoon pulling it out and brought it home.
We also got a free Jeep wheel.
We also got a free Jeep wheel. You know, saying please and thank you paid off once again, Johnny.
Yeah.
Mr. Junkyard Man, what do you want with that no good, worthless, wore out Jeep wheel? I'll help you out by taking it home. Alright, I think we're in trouble here on the This is why rat rods should never have carpet in them, John.
Well, hey, you're the one who decided it should have carpet.
Well, the other day when you were riding with Dustin in that Jeep, yeah. Mariana had one of her toy cars. She was trying to make a video of it driving on the dashboard of a Jeep. Ooh, look at me, I'm driving a Jeep, you know? I don't know if it made the video or not. I can't remember. Anyways, it fell through a hole in the floor of the car. So if I had carpet in there, we wouldn't have lost the Jeep. But then she found it again.
If you had carpet in there, the carpet would probably be super muddy already.
Well, duh. Okay, after some struggle, and I mean struggle, we finally got the old clutch out. Come in close. See all these mistakes? This is where other YouTubers wouldn't tell you they're idiots. This is where it's chewed up, it's damaged. I'm pretty sure now in hindsight it went in like that, but it didn't feel like it went in like that because I've had it in that way before and you can see it was rubbing there. And so I turned it around once and I got it to work, but it's not happy. So this is a new one. Hopefully it's the right one. They're both Chevy 11-inch clutch. Does this say flywheel side? Oh, so I have to guess again.
Maybe that.
Maybe there's instructions.
Hey, look, instructions.
God. Tells you how to put that in. Clean surfaces, pressure plate. I have to get my magnifying glass. John, read that and tell me what it's. This looks like the right throwout bearing for what I got. Looks like the right pushing. Pilot bearing, which again I don't need because I put a new one in it when I did that. We can read that crap offline.
Yeah, that's not describing this section anyways. I'll believe that.
Yeah, I'll make sure that's in right. Well, that wasn't our problem. See, it's been rubbing there. You can even see it on the bolts that mount the flywheel. Let me put that down.
Yeah, we're not doing well.
No, it's not fitting up at all. I'm having trouble here. No. I mean, it doesn't seem like it should be that difficult of
a thing.
So we know that doesn't work. And I think, if I remember right, the big hump like this goes back in here.
Weird.
But
why would that make sense?
But I don't know, man. That's the way I'm going to put it in. It looks right. Obviously, I have dirty gloves. Obviously, I'm not going to touch that until I'm ready. And I'm going to put on other gloves. So write it in the comments if you want. Have you ever seen that before? I mean, I put it in, okay? So it's my fault. But why is it my fault? Because I had it in the other way first, and this wasn't working right. So let's go under there and investigate, John. This should ride free, and then that clamps it against there, and there should be room for this. This should not touch anything. This surface should on the flywheel.
Getting under here to see.
Cameraman has to be where people can see what he's doing. Yeah, looks like that'll work. All right, I just got to trust myself this time and not be dumb and put it in wrong. You can see in there where the bolts are screwed up.
Here, you take it and get closer.
Well, you just zoom, man, zoom.
I don't. Fingers.
Zoom it.
Get my fingers.
Yeah, it's tough being a cameraman. Anyways, you see the bolts are screwed up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to leave that. Walk away. Pretend we didn't see it.
I just hope them stay in there better.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature's Loctite. All right, let's put this together. Again, I don't know how much you guys are going to see on camera, but it don't really matter. We know there was a problem now, and we know we got new parts. Let's continue. Using the starting fluid to clean the surface as per instructions. Yes, I read them. Just because you didn't see it on the TV don't mean I didn't do it. And a lot of you guys might think, yeah, Darian, you screwed up. You're right, I screwed up, because now I can read this, even without my glasses. Right there, flywheel side. And it has a less of a step. See that step right there?
Yeah.
Than even this one does. You see how that one steps way out?
Yep.
So you see that's been interfering. So there's a good chance that I never had anything right when I went and used these parts to make this thing work. That is what I needed to make it work. So I'm not an expert. I'm not even a mechanic, okay? I'm a guy in the backyard. This throwout bearing, and you remember we had that shorter one?
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
All right, well, there was two sizes of this. What I ordered was a clutch for 283 4-speed 65 Chevy. I reused the flywheel off the 6-cylinder, and this was all 6-cylinder stuff. Now, maybe I needed the right clutch for the 5-speed conversion. I don't know. So I'm going to give this a shot. It was 146 bucks here in town. I'm going to give it a shot. Anyways, I had a shorter one in there. It didn't work. And I do recall now I modified that linkage so I could get enough pedal throw, because this didn't make up enough distance. The other one is quite small. So now I'll change the linkage back. Clutch is in the right way. Bob's your uncle. I'm a miracle worker. We're all happy. Been mostly dead most of the day. Max the miracle worker. Quote the movie if you remember it. Anyways, let's get on with it. John, turn that thing off and help me. Okay, it's later in the afternoon. It didn't take us very long. New throwout bearing, clutch, pressure plate in, tighten down the bolts. What I do is I just put a screwdriver in there. John held that. I tighten them down good and tight. I think they're 28, 32 pounds, something like that. I make sure I'm all of that. Then this should align. I will probably not show you the transmission going in because I'm going to need his help. And then it's just these two bolts on these truck bell housings are threaded. These are through bolts, which I think you saw in the beginning. When the clutch is fully engaged, okay, there's free play in the pedal, and there's engagement. Right now, this clutch is totally engaged because there's no spring resistance. These inside, move that out of the way. Those are the fingers. The front of this rides, and as the clutch is depressed, obviously it'll be aligned properly when the transmission's in there. And you push on that, that lever acts as, it just pushes on the fingers. It has an incredible clamping force. But through leverage in your leg, it's overcome. When that is depressed, it has some rocking inside here of some kind of a cam. I don't exactly know. It's magic. It's a wizard box. But as the wizard box pushes down, the clutch is then allowed to move inside. I'll probably reassemble it all, show you on a video pushing the clutch, and you'll see the clutch disc move inside. Well, in reality, the clutch disc is just doesn't have the clamping force on the one side. The flywheel's stationary. It's rotating. This thing just gently moves. A 1/16 of an inch at the most. It's just enough. So when people are slipping the clutch, or the clutch is slipping, they're riding their foot on there, there's a little bit of pressure on this. It'll wear your clutch out. It'll give you hot spots. Meanwhile, the temperature seems to be coming down. We're going to throw the transmission in probably this weekend. Coming up 4 or 5 days from now, I'm hopefully going to have the carburetor solution for this. I'd love to take this thing for a drive. But you got to be patient with me, and you got to be patient with my vehicles. They're all old and wore out. And let's get working on this. So I'll give you an update as far as we get. Okay, we took a break. Johnny stayed in the house. He was cold. If you're going to change a clutch on a 60-year-old vehicle in your backyard, these are the tools you need. This is every tool I have out. I have not put anything away yet to show you. Now, what you didn't see, and I'm sorry about that. Put my glove back on. Sorry about that. It's 27 degrees today and dry, so I decided to do this. I was going to clean out the shop and turn on the heat and go inside, but then I didn't want to leave my stuff outside, so I'm a lazy guy. Transmission in, cross member in, driveline in. What I am missing and have not completed is I've left the cover off so I can see it actuate. The fluid I have to pump back into the transmission. That was brand new. And then I'm going to fix this rod. Let me put it here where you can see. So you see this rod is the original Chevy rod. It's got a couple of issues. One, I'm going to try to weld that notch up a little bit, grind it out. I don't know if you can see that wear, and take this piece back out. Now, I'm not saying I'm the right or wrong way of doing stuff. And to be truthful, I was told this conversion, all the original pieces would mix. But when I had that clutch disc in wrong, I was trying to fix it without realizing my problem, and I didn't have enough throw on the pedal. Well, clearly it's because it was all out of whack. So I added that piece last summer. That's most likely before YouTube and everything. And now I'm fixing that. And here's the old throwout bearing. It's not actually bad. I'll keep it for, you know, comparison or whatever. So some of you guys might be sitting there at work watching this on your break. You might be at home in your living room. You might be driving in your car. I don't know. Maybe you're listening to this hands-free. Anyways, so you could judge me how you want, but I don't know everything. And I do know now. I'm going to put that back to stock and see if we can get a clutch action. I don't think I'll be able to drive it today because of what we discovered with the fuel making happener, right? The fuel inlet that's stripped out in there right here. I've been thinking about ways to fix it. Truthfully, the best way to fix it is to pull this off and go find another carburetor. But I'm going to go down to the store and see if they have any sort of what would I seagoing marine epoxy or something. It has to be an epoxy. It has to be able to take 6 or 7 pounds pressure and be resistant to fuel. This was a blessing. Earlier I was being, oh, Chevy suck or whatever, but that was just being mean. If this had been leaking when I was driving the vehicle with the electric fuel pump pumping away, it's very possible that I could have had a real big problem here real fast. So that's a blessing in disguise. Is it a blessing that I was prepared for? No. All right. This is my cutting table. Cut this out because why wouldn't I cut it like that, huh? My grinder gave up the ghost the other day. I have to go get a new one. I'm on the fence. I think I'm gonna get a grinder that matches this Milwaukee stuff, a cordless grinder. So you may have recognized I had another one of these from my parts collection, and I ended up using it on the 53 Ford for part of its clutch stuff, and it worked okay. You know, on the trip it worked okay. It bound up a little bit when it was really twisted up. Where we took that car, we shouldn't have took that car, but we took that car there anyways, and it did all right, you know. Ran good. If I was to have some complaints, obviously I need to fix the seat, but I was saying earlier about that little doodad there is war. I think I just might turn it in backwards. It looks like someone's tried to weld it before. And then it can wear on the other half longer. Well, yeah, I'll do it like that. Find some spray stuff. I got this liquid wrench. But then I'm thinking, well, why am I putting the lube on before I weld it, right? Put the lube on after you weld it, dummy. Ah, I have to use a wrench. All right, I'm gonna go run this on my wire wheel. And I'll get back to you guys when I'm probably welding or finished welding. I don't know. I'll see you around. Okay. I fixed it up a little bit. I just tested it on the truck. It's better. You know, it's better. So let's assemble it. Now I don't remember which way it went, so it don't really matter. So I'm going to go put that on the truck and then fine tune it. What you want is all the free play out of the pedal, and then this should just be in there tight but not pressing. Well, free play out. It should be pressing enough to have free play. So the pedal is all the way up. As soon as it starts to touch, you should see some movement. In that movement, if it's engineered properly, it should come down and depress the clutch somewhere in its range near the bottom. And then as it wears, you can take up the movement. I don't know that I'll drive this thing enough to ever take up the movement. I like to get cars, I like to dink around with cars, but I don't seem to drive them very much. I'm always busy working on them. Today would have been a perfect day. I was just thinking about my Capri behind me. Man, it's licensed, it's insured. Let's go for a ride. But then I got to move the stuff, and you know, then the dogs want to come, and it's a real big fun time. Anyways, let me go put this on. I'll get back with you. Use the correct foot. I'm closing the door, and then you can shift it for me. Let me lay underneath and yell at you. Open the window. All right. And for the viewers. Okay. Linkage is installed. If you know what you're looking at, then you know what you're looking at. If you don't, it don't matter. All right, John, go ahead and push on the clutch. Let it go. Push on it again. Okay, let it go. I guess you guys can see right here it's moving. Okay, go ahead and push on the clutch. That's all the way down. Okay, let it go. Now, push on it gently until you start feeling it tight up. Okay, so is there, hold on, go back. Is there play right away? Your foot's off? There you go. All right, well, until we get the engine running, we're gonna have to do that. Put it in first gear, John. Hold your clutch down. I'm going to try to rotate this while it's in gear. Okay, let go of the clutch. All right. So you guys saw in the video, he had the clutch down. I heard it move. It moved. Right now, we're within range. We're going to have to drive it some. What we didn't have done is we got to put the oil up in the high side here. We don't have a pump for that. And obviously the carburetor's giving me trouble. And earlier when I said Ford and Chevy, it was a competition. It's apples to oranges. It doesn't count. Coconuts. They're all different. They're all the same. This one needs more love. That other one is second I drive it out of the driveway, it'll need more love too. So anyways, the linkage is repaired with one little weld right there. I don't know if you can see. It's getting dark. And we're getting cold, and it's way colder than 27 in the last half an hour. Anyways, we'll finish the video probably in a few days when I get some parts. Thanks for watching, and in a few seconds you'll see the result. Okay, 64 Chevy Suburban. I got this carburetor off of a guy off of Marketplace. It was 100 miles round trip. Looks like it was rebuilt once. He knew nothing about it. It came in a project car he'd bought years ago. It looks like it's the old style Quadrajet that I need, because you remember on that other one, the 64 Suburban right there, it stripped out. Let's go see. You can see it snowed. It's been 4 or 5 days since we worked on this, 6 days since we worked on this. I've been at work all week. So the clutch is in. I need to add oil to the transmission, get the carburetor working, and I think I want to put together an HEI ignition. Let's go see if this is the right carburetor. It's probably gonna be the end of the video. Let's see how it goes. So you see these Chevys. Now let me tell you a story about Chevys. When the snow and ice goes down those vents, it goes out these drains at the bottom. So when we did those repairs in the summer, and then it's all rotted out, there's a channel that rots out because it gets full of dirt. If the engineers had made it a little bit bigger of a hole, it probably wouldn't have happened. The other problem with these, okay, we're not going to see. You see that water back there, Mary? It'll run along this channel. This is an earplug, I kid you not. Otherwise it drips down onto the distributor. So this is the Quadrajet that's on there. This is the one I just purchased. Obviously it needs a kit, it needs to be rebuilt. The man told me that. See, there goes that water. See that? See, all that is just going in my distributor. Ah, I hate this thing. Let me get that snow off of there. Hold on, delay.
Is your hand cold yet?
Yeah, my whole body's been cold all week. This is our warmest day.
Yeah.
Remember in the last video, okay, last video, sidetracked, last video, guy asked, comment about Leavenworth. Okay.
Tilt your head down. There you go, then they can read
All right, Leavenworth.
1906.
Leavenworth is a town in, I'm not going to say eastern Washington or western Washington, it's in the mountains. They call it the Swiss Alps of Washington. Go back in the video, RS Capri, I drove it from here to there, made a huge round trip. It's called the Cascade Loop. Anyways, while I was there, I bought the hat. So it's a town hat. Yeah, I probably need a different hat. I've been wearing it since September. But until I get a better hat, that's what I'm going to wear.
It's a good hat.
I need something that'll reset. Delay again.
What you doing? Some hood mopping?
Hood sweeping.
I mean, it kind of looks moppy right now.
Yeah, it's moppy. All right. Less water. So, water in the distributor is never a good thing, but then it could potentially go into your oil and all this crap. Sorry, I shouldn't have said a bad word. Anyways.
Isn't it fun that you don't have to fight with this hood like we have to do with that
Jets in
monster.
there. So let's go in here and compare. Is it the same? This is a carburetor gasket, Mary, you put on top so that the dust doesn't go in.
A gasket?
Oh, man, did I get lucky or what?
How strange, a gasket does.
Check it out. I think it's the
gasket.
exact, like all of it is the exact same vintage. Oh, no, that's a little different there.
Well, look on these other sides,
But,
too.
well,
just a little bit different, but
I think it's going to be the same. So,
they look just close enough.
just enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just enough. This one has another vacuum port down here. And then it's got that vacuum
see
port.
that through the
Oh no, it's got
hose.
a plug on it. Yeah. And that one over there picks up vacuum for the distributor. And then it has this. They're not same, but they're.
The bottom of it's super clean.
Well, I don't. He didn't know what engine this came off of because it came out of a car project. That intake manifold and carburetor. Remember the last time we went we were in northern Utah, and it was a Craigslist. I know KSL, I think is what they have down. Anyways, it's like a marketplace, and I paid $100 for that intake manifold, that carburetor, and these valve covers.
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Because I wanted to get it back to the original vintage. So the carburetor was a bonus.
Yeah, we
but-
went on family vacation, and he found car parts.
Oh yeah, because I'm surfing. But anyways, if you can see right here, Mary, this is where the problem was. I think I showed it in the early part of the video. It just never tightens anymore. This one seems like it will. They have a different fuel inlet.
What, you don't want to put Loctite in your carburetor?
That doesn't fit. I'll have to get a bushing for it or upsize the hose. So maybe this came off a big block because it has a 3/8 hose instead of 5/16. I don't know. Somebody write it in the comments. Tell me if you can tell me what this carburetor is supposed to be. If it bolts on there, I'm going to run it. The very worst I could do is change the primary jet to whatever was in there because it seemed to work all right.
And if it doesn't work out, it'll just go on the wall of carburetors.
Yeah, I already showed him the wall of carburetors.
The carburetor graveyard.
Did you see the wall of carburetors?
They've seen it in past videos, and I'm pretty sure you filmed it for this one
You
already.
didn't watch all the videos I filmed because I filmed it up close in the wall of
I
carburetors.
did see it.
All right. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for us. I want to do carburetor repair so the engine don't catch fire, and an HEI distributor. I don't know if it'll fit. Again, put it in the comments. Stock location, should it fit? I think it will. I have to buy a cap, a rotor, wires. Just, I don't know. I might, who cares? Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We're still trying to get to 1,000. So then we can get a little money on this deal and start putting it into these rigs. Anyways, we'll catch you next time.